Well, I recently said that I hope to get to heaven someday just so I can ask God. Well, for a lot of reasons, but here's one of them. God, why'd you make snakes? Now, our writers must have heard me say that because they deliberately went looking for snake stories. So I'm probably looking for some new writers this week. Look, I'm a little nervous about this, but let's get to it. First up, a woman in Singapore called an animal welfare group when she kept hearing an occasional hissing sound, and she thought that a snake was hiding in her house. The alleged animal experts told her that it was definitely the sound of a venomous, black-spitting cobra.
Ooh.
That'd scare me. I'd move.
I don't like that.
So they very carefully searched until they found the source of the hissing. It was a malfunctioning Oral-B electric toothbrush that was turning itself on and off.
That's awesome.
I didn't know they hiss.
Wow.
I'm not sure I'll ever be able to use an electric toothbrush.
No,
The association with a snake. Well, that story wasn't too bad. However, in suburban Sydney, Australia, a woman was shopping for dinner ingredients at Woolworths when she suddenly came face to face with this. Look at this.
No.
That is a 10-foot python sticking out of the spice shelf. I'd call that scary spice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the audience didn't know about the Spice Girls and all that. Anyway, you know, I mean, look, Woolworths is the store with everything. Maybe it was just looking for the electric toothbrush aisle. I don't know. Fortunately, this being Australia, the shopper happened to be a volunteer snake catcher. Of course she did.
How?
So she fetched her equipment. She said the python wasn't aggressive, and it slithered right into her bag. Yeah.
You see, my assumption is all snakes are poisonous.
I agree.
And all snakes are aggressive, so get away from them.
That's right. If you can't kill them, just put as much real estate between you and the snake as is possible. Now, the good thing about this snake, because it was in the spice aisle, if she did take it home to cook it, it already had its spices already on. All right, let's move on. A much less scary creature appeared in the harbor of Belfast, Maine. It's a giant, inflated, yellow rubber duck. Look how big that thing is.
It says joy.
Yeah, I would call it a rubber ducky, but when it's 25 feet tall, that's a duck. It mysteriously appeared anchored in shallow waters one morning. Nobody have any idea where it came from or why it was there. But you know what they say? If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, well, it must be Dr. Fauci.
He's not that big.
No, he's not that big. And as you can see, it has the word joy on its chest, and it certainly brought some desperately needed joy to local residents. In fact, Keith, they love this so much, they are floating the idea of keeping it. How about that?
Yeah, tourist.
They might even, you know, I mean, they think it might encourage kids to take a bath.
They might.
Yeah, hopefully not in the harbor. But my advice to them, if they really want to keep it, just ban alcohol sales during duck hunting season. That would be a good idea.
That would be it.
Yeah. All right. Finally, walruses are usually found in the Arctic North, but one of them must have floated south on an iceberg to take a vacation because he's been popping up all around the coast of England, Wales, and Ireland. Nicknamed Wally, the 2,000-pound walrus developed a bad reputation for sinking boats by trying to climb aboard and tipping the boats over.
What a way to go. Well, they were out boating and the walrus tipped.
Yeah, how do you go home and tell your wife, I lost my boat, baby? What happened? The walrus jumped up in there.
Climbed right in there.
Flipped that thing over. Well, I'm going to tell you, that's why I gave up canoeing. You never know when this guy's going to show up.
You never know.
Now, the good news is Wally finally figured out how to climb onto boats without sinking them. Here's the bad news. He then takes the boats over completely and he spreads out like on his back, somewhat like Michael Moore sunbathing in a fur Speedo.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks for that image.
Thank the Lord my producers could not find an image of that. And I'm glad
so
they
glad.
couldn't. Nothing on the
I'm so glad.
Yeah, even worse, walruses, I don't know if you knew this. Do you know they're protected by law?
I didn't know that.
They are. And that way the walrus can actually steal your boat and the police can't do a thing to stop him.
No handcuffs, no nothing.
Nothing. No, I figure Wally must be a Democrat politician. He could just get away with that. Well, before you start blubbering, let's end this bit. But until next time, let's remember that we read the news. Now, if you're seeing this, I know you've enjoyed that video. I mean, how could you not, after all? So, you know what you should do? Leave a like, click on the subscribe button below, and hit the notification bell next to it so you'll always know when I have another video up for you to enjoy.